What's up, guys? Welcome back to Macho Movie Madness. Today, it's Warehouse B, episode 54, and it's American Cyborg, Steel Warrior. All right, guys, welcome back. Today, it's episode 54, Warehouse B. It's American Cyborg, Steel Warrior. And before we get into this, Kenny, what did you think about this straight out of the gate? Was it everything you hoped it would be?
It was actually better than I thought it was going to be. Going into this, I thought it was going to be bad. I mean, we've reviewed some pretty bad Warehouse Bs, and I thought this was going to be right there with them, and I was surprised. I was actually entertained the whole entire movie. So this is definitely not one to sleep on.
Just given the title, I think Brandon was like, I'm out. I don't want any part of that. It didn't be an apocalypse, but he missed out on a good one. This is one of the last of the canon movies. It may have been the last to get a theatrical release. It came out January 7th, 1994. And on a budget that we couldn't find, it made $447,000. So that's trash.
Really raked it in.
So this movie, I didn't know about at all, and I went to a double feature just before COVID shut everything down in the world a few years ago of Terminator and Terminator 2. This was at Alamo Drafthouse, and beforehand on the previews they had this show called Not Quite Terminators, and so you get the usual suspects like Hands of Steel and things like that. Well, American Cyborg Steel Warrior comes on there. It's like, what the hell is that? I have got to see this trash. And when I finally did, like you, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, yes, it's definitely a fun flick.
Yeah. Just to briefly go over the plot of this thing, you've got this woman named Mary, and I remember the first time you saw her in the trailer, I cracked up because you were talking about how she's this virginal Mary dressed like a prostitute. She's got this fetus, and it's in like this test tube, like, and the only reason I can think they have that so she can actually do action scenes. But they're in this world where everyone is infertile, and she's somehow, I don't know that it was actually explained how she had this baby, but she's got it in this tube incubating, and she's trying to get across the city, which is really dangerous. There's got these killer androids running patrol and taking out anybody who's a threat. And she's trying to get to the water so they can get to Europe because I guess things are different over there. I don't know. That whole plot point was kind of wonky to me.
It was.
Along the way, her whole team gets taken out, and she meets this guy named Austin. She tells him she's going to give him, like, I can't remember how many RZBs, which they help to fight radiation. They're kind of like cigarettes or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe it was a drug or...
It was to help fight radiation. I heard that much. Okay. But, yeah, maybe it had drug-like qualities. But along the way, they get stalked by this robot who's just known in the credits as what? Robot Assassin, I think you said?
Android Assassin.
Android Assassin. And just when they think they're safe, every scene he comes busting through the door, and it's pretty comical. But there's quite a few action scenes in this, and until they finally get, to the end. And there's a couple twists and turns and some interesting plot points, which we'll get into. What about this movie did you have pro-wise, Kenny? What did you like about it?
Well, first off, is the pacing in this is great. The action don't stop, and it gets going probably about 10 to 15 minutes into the show. And like you said, they just can't escape this guy.
Yeah.
around every corner. I mean, he's busting through a wall. I mean, he's on their ass the whole movie. That kind of just kept me drawn in. It was entertaining.
It's very much a Terminator movie. I mean, it's on the lower budget side and it's pretty cheesy, but it still had that same vibe to it, which you're going to get me and
Yeah,
Kenny
and one
with
of the
something like
cool.
that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And there was a scene where he's kind of in the dark, and his eyes, which they kind of ripped that from Terminator. His eyes are glowing red, and dude, that is such a cool shot.
Yeah.
It really was a
Yeah.
cool shot.
The android assassin, we were talking one day, he kind of reminds us of a cross between Rob Halford from Judas Priest. Who else did we say? He's really interesting. We'll put it that way, visually.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pacing I thought was really good. I thought it was a fun apocalyptic flick. The setting had me drawn in. They shot this over in Israel. Golem and Globus, who ran Canon, they're Israelis. And, I could see Israel probably actually looks like this. They probably just shot this around all the rubble that was around at the time.
Yeah.
We won't get into that. I like the music in this movie quite a bit. You had the one piece of score for the bad guy, which I liked and disliked at the same time. It was pretty driving, but at the same time they had this kind of comical Star Wars through the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, man, it would be more serious if they took that out. And then you had Austin on the other side, the good guy, and he had this heroic, hard driving Terminator sounding theme with strings, and I think you were pointing out that it had harmonica in it, kind of like it reminded me a lot of Escape from L.A. a little bit, like his theme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had like this little outlaw jingle that they would throw in there. On that.
Yeah. But I thought the score was pretty good for the most part, and especially those two parts really stood out to me. There are going to be some spoilers in this, so we'll throw that out right here. I guess we can get into it. I really liked the fact that it was more than just a straight action movie, and he was more than just like Kyle Reese character. Yeah, he ends up being a android or a cyborg himself. They find out after one of these skirmishes with the android assassin. And
yes,
I thought that was an interesting.
Didn't know it.
Yeah, he didn't even know it, and I thought that was an interesting take on the character. That he talked about having no memories of his family, and that should have been a sign right there. I like that plot point quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. I think that not too long after he talks about not being able to remember his family, is when he gets his arm ripped off, and he's freaking out, like oh, and then he looks down, and it's like, oh shit, I'm not human, and then that's no. Not
good stuff.
Oh, it was so good.
That's one thing about this movie. It's pretty corny in times. We can get straight into the cons if we want. It is a very cheesy movie. It's fun. I don't want to deter you from watching it by talking about the cheese, but yeah, there's some cheesy lines and some pretty bad acting in this movie. Some bad line delivery.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We were talking earlier, there's a scene in the beginning where the doctor's talking about the trip she's going to go on, and it looks like they were reading right off of cue cards over the other actor's shoulder or something. It's pretty bad.
I guess maybe my biggest con, because these movies, that they are what they are. If you're into B action and stuff like that, that you know what to expect. But his friend, and I cannot remember her name.
Oh, I can't either. But yeah, the one that kind of helped her there toward the end.
Yeah, but first she come up, she's being a bitch, and I couldn't tell if she was a lesbian or. First I thought it was a dude.
Because he does beat up a group of trannies in this movie.
Yeah, he does. So yeah, she was pretty bad. She was probably, I think, hands down, probably the worst character in the movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
Man, cons, like I said, I really kind of had expectations going in, because, like I said, these are what they are. But that being said, I not really, man. I mean, she would be my biggest one.
Yeah.
Really, she was the worst part of the movie,
What about the baby in
honestly.
the jar?
Oh man, the baby, and I don't think the baby had a name. Oh yeah, it did at the end. She's gonna
Yeah,
name him
Austin.
Austin, but the baby, oh my gosh, it's so dumb, but it's so cool at the same time
Yeah. It's like something they
because
made out of
I
clay.
just yeah, I couldn't stop laughing. It's so fake looking. Like, like I was expecting it to be a real baby. A couple times it opens its eyes and it's just, man, I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some corny stuff. That's like I said, Conwise, just some of the corny stuff and the acting. There was a few things plot wise, like they can't get away from this guy, and suddenly he walks up on the group of dead trannies that's laying there after Austin got done with them, and he can suddenly use like thermal vision to see where their feet were, to see their footprints thermally,
Right. Heat
and I
tracking.
was like, oh god. Yeah, that was kind of cheesy to me, but yeah, robot heat sensors. Yeah, other than that, man, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was great. Like you said, the pacing was fantastic, and the action scenes were great. He opens fire in that lab in the beginning, and then you've got scenes where Austin's taking down like mutant cannibals who are after Mary and her baby,
Yeah.
and there's a group of looks like guys straight out of Rocky Horror Picture Show that try to get her there, and Austin takes them down, and just some really good action in this. Joe Lara, I don't know what else he was in. I'm pretty sure I read that he passed away here recently. The guy who played Austin.
Yeah, I believe
you see this?
I
Go ahead.
believe he died in a plane crash.
Did he?
I believe so, yeah.
I knew I read that he had passed, and it wasn't all that long ago. But I could have seen him going on to other smaller bit parts. I can't see him being like a huge star, but I'm surprised he didn't do, more movies like this at least.
Right. I think he did do a Tarzan movie series
he looks the part.
or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely does look the part of Tarzan.
Yeah, but if you're into like post-apocalyptic kind of cheesy cyborg flicks, check this one out. Don't sleep on it. If you're into Terminator knockoffs like me and Kenny, check this one out. It's definitely worth a watch. What would you rate this thing, Kenny, on a scale, Warehouse B scale of 0 to 5? Because I'm kind of torn between.
Oh,
I want to go 2 3/4, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I kind of want to go 3, but I'm trying to talk myself into it.
Man, I could give it a 3.
You think so? Just the fun factor?
Yeah, I think I am just the fun factor. Yeah, I'm gonna go 3.
Yeah, 3 out of 5. That's not bad for Warehouse B. So, if you ever see this
No,
on
it's not.
anything,
Brandon, shame on you.
Yeah, you missed out, buddy.
Shame on you.
So if you ever see this streaming somewhere, check it out. I bought it on Fandango. Kenny watched it on his phone on an illegal streaming site that I sent him the link to. So, if you get the chance to watch American Cyborg Steel Warrior do it, it's like I said, don't go in expecting something serious. It's cheesy and it's fun, and if you're into the genre, you'll like it. Did you have anything else to say about the movie, Kenny?
You'll have a blast. No, it was a good pick. I'm glad you picked it.
Yeah,
I had fun with it.
So coming up next will be episode 55. We're going to save a big one. We've shot some clips back and forth to each other of this movie, and it's babes, bazookas, and snakes. It's Hard Ticket to Hawaii we're going to do for 55, which if you guys want to watch along before we actually review it, it's up on Tubi all the time. So that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
You and me both, brother. So until then, for Kenny, I'm Andrew, and we'll see you down the line on the next Warehouse B.